Hello and welcome to Route 99. This is DPM82. We're reading an RC today. The RC is about why philosophers avoid talking about sleep. Okay, let's dig deeper into it. What is the RC about? What was the level of difficulty of the language of the RC and the question that followed, and how we could have answered them better. So it is easy to see why philosophers have, on the whole, avoided talking about sleep. Those who see the aim of philosophy as being to cultivate the most unpeeled mode of wakefulness are likely to treat sleep as an enemy. So we can understand that why philosophers don't want to talk about sleep, because philosophy, in some sense, is about arriving at the most awake moment in your life, right? So they would naturally treat sleep as an enemy. Not only is sleep a reminder of our ultimate helplessness, or even of how circumscribed a place thought sometimes play in our lives, there is also a fear of contagion, as if talking about sleep might induce it. तो सिर्फ इतनी सी बात नहीं है कि they feel that sleep describes our ultimate helplessness, that shows that we cannot do while we are sleeping, right? We are totally out of our control. We are completely subconscious. So that is one thing, and other thing is that sleep is contagion. It spreads. So as if talking about sleep might induce it. सिर्फ बात करने से भी नींद आती है. Just as this reference to yawning will get at least 50% of you yawning in the next 15 minutes. तो आप सिर्फ yawning की बात करो. If you just talk about a yawn, ubasi, so at least 50% of us would be yawning, and that is quite true. If you even see someone yawning, you feel like yawning. Of course, there is no reason why the mind should not think about its antithesis, nor why super mindful philosophers should not take an interest in our regular spells of compulsory mindlessness. So, of course, even after considering all these, there is no reason why mind should not think about it. Antithesis. What is it? Antithesis? Mindlessness. Mind का उल्टा क्या होगा? Mindlessness, which is what? Sleep. So there is no reason why you should not think about mindlessness, because, or neither is there a reason why super mindful philosopher should not take interest in our regular spells of compulsory mindlessness, which is sleep. And neither is there a reason why philosophers should not talk about sleep. Philosophers, however, have a particular fear of one kind of sleep. Okay, they are afraid of one kind of sleep. Philosophers are afraid of one kind of sleep. What is that sleep? The sleep that their own work may induce. जो उनका काम पढ़ के शायद किसी को नींद आएगी ना, वो वाली स्लीप से वो सबसे ज्यादा डरते हैं. ऑब्वियस भी है, आप कोई आर्टिकल लिखो और उसको पढ़ के कोई सो जाए, so that is not what you want, right? Those carefully crafted arguments, the painstakingly revised sentences expressing insights so they hope into the most fundamental aspect of the world, seem less able than a strip cartoon or a gossip column to hold back the reader from the world dissolving snooze. तो वो इतनी सारी मेहनत करते हैं. They carefully craft arguments, they painstakingly revise sentences, they express insights, और ये सब करके they hope that would dig into the fundamental aspect of the world, but that is equated to what? A strip cartoon or a gossip column, if the person who is reading it just dissolved into the world of sleep, right? It is very hard to ignore that sleep, right? Honest philosophers know that they cannot complain about causing their philosophical pearls before drowsy. Okay, honest philosophers know they cannot complain about casting their philosophical pearls before drowsy swine, because they too have fallen asleep over the works of philosophers greater than themselves. So philosophers cannot even deny the fact that philosophy पढ़ने से नींद आती है, because they themselves have sometimes or the other have slept over the philosophy of other people. I speak as a minor player who has sometimes dozed off while reading Heidegger's Being and Time, possibly the greatest philosophical work of the last century, and the subject of a monograph I published decades ago. The author is admitting that he himself have slept reading this work of philosophy, which he holds in very high esteem, which he believes that is the best piece of work in the last century, and it was also the subject of his monograph, which he published a decade ago, and over which others too have dozed off. उसका जो monograph है उस पर भी लोग सोए हैं. Author ये बुक पढ़ते हुए सोया जिसके ऊपर उसने मोनोग्राफ लिखा, and people who have read this monograph, they have also slept. So author here is trying to show a humorous irony, published and over. Okay, on other occasion I have woken up with a start to discover that Kant's critique of pure reason has fallen from my slackening hand. There could be no more profound critique of reason, pure or impure. For Descartes, cessation of thinking meant ceasing to be an I. So thoughtless sleep was vexing indeed, a vegetable organic gap in spiritual life. So there is some thinker named Descartes who believes that if you stop thinking, you sleep, you stop thinking, and if you stop thinking, you stop being I, you stop being yourself. So that is why this is a gap, right? Sleep is a gap in your life. As James Hills pointed out in The Philosophy of Sleep, Descartes, Locke and Leibniz. Descartes' view of the mind is as a substance did not allow for any pause in the continuity of thought. तो जैसा डेस्केर्टस का मानना था उसके हिसाब से लाइफ में कोई पॉज नहीं होना चाहिए. तो अगर एक आदमी सो जाएगा, वो सोचना बंद कर देगा, तो he'll stop being himself, he'll stop being I. तो वो सोचना भी बंद कर देगा और उसकी लाइफ में एक पॉज आ जाएगा. If the mind were the kind of thing that could be extinguished by the sound of a lecturer's voice or rekindled by wet flannel, it would be not worthy of the statue of substance which should be immune from mere accidents. Right? अगर दिमाग को इतना वीक पार्ट होता बॉडी का जिसको एक्सटिंग्विश करना मतलब जिसको बंद किया जा सकता है जस्ट बाय द साउंड ऑफ अ लेक्चरर्स वॉइस, मतलब अगर कभी कभी कोई लेक्चरर की बात सुन के नींद आती है, और इट कुड बी रिकंडल्ड बाय अ वेट फ्लैनेल, कुछ सुन के आप जाग जाओ तो आपकी नींद फिर से वापस आ जाती है. तो ऐसी पैटी थिंग्स से अगर आपका दिमाग बंद या शुरू किया जा सकता होता, सो इट वुड नॉट बी द वर्दी ऑफ द स्टेटस ऑफ अ सब्सटेंस एंड विच शुड बी इम्यून फ्रॉम मियर एक्सीडेंट्स. जितना स्टेटस आज ब्रेन का है वो स्टेटस नहीं होता ना. Descartes therefore concluded that we never stop thinking, even in the deepest sleep. However, in our deepest sleep, we do not lay down any memories of our thoughts, ad hoc or what. तो Descartes बोलता है कि हाँ, इसलिए हम कभी सोचना नहीं छोड़ते. We don't stop being I. हम नींद में भी सोचते हैं, पर दिक्कत ये है कि हम जो सोचते हैं वो हमको याद नहीं रहता. John Locke would have none of it. Okay. Empirical evidence, he says, tell us that we do not think when we sleep. Okay, so there is some John Locke who doesn't agree with Descartes. Empirical evidence, he says, tells us that we do not think when we sleep, and this the end of the story. Ever drowsy nod shakes the Cartesian doctrine. Leibniz anticipate the confusion of Herr Professor Freud, argued that Descartes was right. We are thinking during dreamless sleep, but our thoughts are unconscious. Okay, rather like the perception we have without noticing them. Okay, let's just go through it again. John Locke would have none of it. John Locke wouldn't have believed or agreed with the philosophy of Descartes, who says that we stop thinking when we are sleeping, or we think but we don't remember any of it. Empirical evidence, he says, tells us that we do not think when asleep, and that's the end of the story. But John Locke believes that we don't think when we are asleep. Every drowsy nod shakes the Cartesian doctrine. Leibniz, anticipating the confusion of her Professor Freud, argued that Descartes was right. Okay, there is someone named Leibniz who agrees with Descartes. We are thinking during dreamless sleep, but our thoughts are unconscious. So he agrees with Descartes that of course we think when we are sleeping, but our thoughts are very unconscious, so we don't know what is happening. Rather like the perception we have without noticing them, but we don't notice them. I leave the reader to referee the discussion, but its unsatisfactory nature offers another reason why most philosophers have shield away from sleep. तो अभी वापस से वही चीज़ आ जाती है कि मैं शायद यहाँ पे डिस्कस कर लेती कि व्हाट इज दिस डिस्कशन अबाउट, एंड आई वुड लीव दीज टू रीडर कि हम नींद में सोचते हैं या नहीं सोचते हैं. बट अगेन दैट लीड्स टू अ वेरी अनसेटिस्फैक्टरी नेचर ऑफ डिस्कशन बिकॉज उसका कोई कंक्लूजन नहीं. एंड मे बी वो एक रीजन है कि ज्यादातर फिलोसोफर्स दे शाई अवे फ्रॉम टॉकिंग अबाउट स्लीप, है ना. चलो क्वेश्चंस करते हैं. दिस इज ऑप्शन नंबर 4. Which of the following as per the passage is not a reason for philosopher not taking up sleep as a subject? Okay. Philosophers are likely to fear the contagious nature of any mention of sleep. हाँ दिया है. They believe that sleep के बारे में बात करने से भी नींद फैलती है. Philosophy's main purpose is believed to be accentuating the wakefulness. हाँ बिल्कुल. Philosophy का purpose है कि आपको weak होने से बचाए, and it is believed that when you are very weak when you are sleeping. So it is of course the purpose is to accentuate wakefulness. That is why philosophy doesn't talk about sleep, because sleep is a wakeful state. Philosophers are aware that at times their own work might induce sleep. This is also given, that they believe that their work might also be a little soporific, that it may induce sleep. Philosophers basically do not find the idea of sleep appealing and beneficial. ये कहीं दिया है क्या कि उनको sleep appealing और beneficial नहीं लगती? No. So this is not my answer. This is not a reason. So this is my correct option. With which of the following is Descartes least likely to agree? Least likely to agree. The state of a functioning mind is apparently tied to the existence of an individual. Okay, let's just keep it. हाँ ये तो उसने बोला था ना. He talks about I. So he believes that it is tied to the existence. A substance or an entity can be demolished or restructured by an external agent. What is this? Has Descartes ever talked about an entity being demolished or restructured by external agent? ऐसा तो कुछ भी नहीं बोला है, right? This is completely irrelevant to the discussion. Let's just keep it. ये लगता है that he would least likely agree with this, because he has never talked about anything like that. The human mind doesn't cease to process the impulse passing through its nerves. The human mind does not cease to process these things, because it keeps thinking while sleeping as well. It's just that we don't remember it. So this is also true. This is given. He will agree with this. There exists no link between the real world and those of unconscious state of sleep. No, this is also given. He believes that there is some link between real world and those of unconscious state of sleep. This is also given. Only this is not given. This is my correct option. He will least likely agree with this. Okay. Which of the following correctly describes the primary purpose of the passage? Discuss the reason behind philosophers' indifference towards the act of sleep. Is it about, are philosophers indifferent towards act of sleep? They are not. They are not indifferent. Refute the claims of Descartes regarding what goes on in the brain in the state of sleep. Of course they talk about Descartes, but they have never refuted his claims. They have just put forth two theories of Descartes of the other two philosophers, John Locke and the philosopher whose name starts with L. They have never tried to refute it, and even if that is so, that was a small part of it. That is not the primary purpose of it. Descartes को wrong proof करना, that is not the primary purpose. Argue a consensus between varying claims on the function of brain in the state of sleep. Is it so, or it was just about sleep? Was it about the function of brain during sleep among different people, and was it trying to build a consensus? No, it has just put forth the points of different philosophers and why they prefer not to write about the state of sleep. बिल्कुल नहीं. Present and contrast the different position of philosophers on sleep and its future. ये बात बिल्कुल सही है. He has presented Descartes' argument. He has presented other philosophers' argument about why they don't want to write about sleep. It has drawn a contrast between different positions of philosophers and their features, the features of their philosophy. This is completely given. This is my correct option. Okay, question number 4. Which of the following, if true, will support the view of John Locke about sleep the most? John Locke क्या बोलता था कि we stop thinking while we are sleeping. There is a substantial research that shows that all sleep is the same and that both body and mind are dormant when we fall asleep. Exactly जो जॉन लोक का आर्ग्यूमेंट था वही बोल रहा है कि और ऊपर से there has been some research so that backs John Locke's argument, so that will support his views, that shows that when we sleep our body and mind, they both are dormant, they are both inactive. Seems like it. Scientists have shown that processing of thoughts and information take place only during the day but also during the deep sleep. Again, if it does takes during the deep sleep, it contradicts John Locke's argument. Not my answer. In the absence of tools capable of translating brain activity, the content of a sleeping thought, though existent, remains inaccessible. If they exist, again, John Locke's argument has been contradicted. He says that के exist ही नहीं करते. It's not about them being accessible or inaccessible. Just just with the point that they exist, John Locke का argument contradict हो जाता है. Discussion of the moral and criminal responsibility of dreaming. Moral and criminal responsibility. ये कहाँ से आ गया? बिल्कुल ही irrelevant. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं बोला है इसने about moral and criminal responsibility of dreaming, etc., etc. So this is also wrong. Hence, one is my correct option. So that was the video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.